Hello, welcome to the first episode of this new series that I call How to Fix, where I take popular games and show the developers how I would fix them. I have a lot of points prepared for this one, of course the timestamps are going to be in the description. So first, let's talk about the main problem of the game is that it doesn't feel exciting anymore, mainly because the updates just don't feel like what they used to be. Let me explain. Let's imagine a perfect world where every killer gets picked an equal amount of times. Back in the beginning of the game, where there were only 9 killers, adding a 10th one would mean that every 10 games you would encounter that new killer. Meanwhile today, where we have over 30 killers, adding one more just doesn't really do much. Now let's get on with my second point, which is Now, I don't have a solution for every single killer's problems, which is why I'm only gonna talk about some of them, starting off with the weakest ones and then working our way to the strongest. And our journey starts with our golden boy and the mascot of the game, Trapper. I don't think Trapper deserves the title of the weakest killer. A change that I would give Trapper is that he would start with all of his traps already equipped, as well as having unlimited carry capacity. A second change I would make to him is that traps take slightly longer to disable, and before actually disabling the trap, it would trigger a skill check, which upon failing would put a healthy survivor in the injured state. If you are already injured, this has no effect, as that would be slightly too OP. I think this would make playing with and against Trapper so much more interesting, and it would give much more variety in the perk choices, as you can now make somewhat of a skill check build. Anyways, that's all for Trapper, and let's continue on with one of my favorite killers, Ghostface. We all have that memory of marking 2 or 3 survivors at once and getting fuck all for it. So to counter that problem, I would give Ghostface a slight speed boost for every currently marked survivor. This would make Ghostface much more of a scarier killer and would make him genuinely more exciting to play against. Also, you could change a lot of his add-ons to benefit that new mechanic, since 90% of his add-ons don't do jack shit. Look at these add-ons. Do you know what a single one of them does? No, because you've never used them. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. Leggin. I love my Legion, which is why it is so heartbreaking to see the same annoying strategy used against him every single match. 3 people sit on different generators while 1 person with constant deep wound gets chased around. Since the person being chased is already in deep wound, it essentially takes away the only thing that Legion has going for him. I think a way to counter that problem is making it so that when Legion hits a survivor twice, it should reduce his deep wound timer, kind of like that one add-on that got removed. Oh yeah, again, 90% of these add-ons do nothing and have never seen any usage. Now the next killer is Hillbilly, and believe me, I am not a Hillbilly main, so I can really just say what everyone else is saying, and that is to undo the nerf to his add-ons and remove the overheating mechanic. Now the next killer, although I have never played him, really needs a change, mainly in his add-ons. Of course, I'm talking about the second strongest killer, Blight, whose add-ons can be absolutely insane. So this is the first time I'm gonna tell Behavior to nerf some of the add-ons. And while you're at it, maybe remove 1 or 2 charges from his ability. Now let's move on to the next killer. Hated by many, loved by few. My current main, the top of every tier list, the queen of all killers, the Nurse. Nurse is a bit problematic to fix since she's just fundamentally so different from every other killer, but I actually found 2 ways of making her a bit more balanced. The first one is giving her sort of tunnel vision every time she blinks to take away some of her vision, which makes blinking a bit harder. Or the other route that you could take is making the iridescent matchbox base kit. The iridescent matchbox, for those who don't know, removes 1 of her blinks, but speeds her walking speed up to the one of the normal killers. And also with all of that, of course, you need to change some of the add-ons. I'm talking the iridescent add-ons, but also the purple add-ons. Since most of them are so incredibly niche, nobody is running them. And now, since I'm done ranting about the problems I have with the killers, I could suggest something of an add-on overall update. Somewhat like the perk update we got, which is mostly considered the golden age of Dead by Daylight, but just with add-ons. Since, as I said, 90% of them don't have an effect on the game, like at all. Another idea that I had that I actually quite like is making every killer's but also survivor's base kit more unique. For example, on the survivor side, maybe have David, the strong bulky man, have an extra unhooking speed, or have Feng Min, the more technical survivor, have extra generator speed, and maybe give Meg extra vaulting speed. Meanwhile, you could do the same thing with killers, with breaking walls, generators, picking up survivors, missing an attack, landing an attack. All of these things could be slightly different, which I think would breathe a bit of fresh air into a game that desperately needs it. So I only could really give tips to certain killers since I haven't played all of them. That is because of the so-called pay. And I know what you're thinking, Dead by Daylight isn't a pay-to-win game, but let me just put you in a scenario. You found an online shooter that looks pretty fun on Steam, you buy it for $20, and upon playing it for a couple hours, you realize that many people have these insane weapons, strong abilities, and very overpowered characters, which either lie behind hundreds of hours of grind, or just a simple paywall. Would you call that game pay-to-win? I think we all can say yes. And if you now take a look at Dead by Daylight, that is essentially what it is. And it's kind of weird to suggest a financial change on a game like this, but still, I just think it has to be said. We should be able to buy licensed killers with iridescent shards. I would love to play Sadako, I would love to play Nemesis, but I don't want to pay like $10 for both of them. And then there's the other side. A lot of people buy characters simply for their perks. Don't worry, there's something to help you. It is called The Shrine of Secrets feels like a piece of primitive technology on top of a space station. Everything around it changed with time except itself. So the changes that I would do to the Shrine of Secrets is give it 10 slots instead of only 4. Or another change that I would make is making every perk available to buy at all times and having the Shrine of Secret only as like a discount thing. This will also slightly help with the pay to win problem, and would make the game feel much more fair to people in a less comfortable financial situation. Also, by the way, talking about Now with the perks, I don't have a lot of problems since the last big perk update. I think they did a really good job of balancing a lot of it, although I still have some complaints. For example, the perk Adrenaline. You see it in every single match because it is just so overpowered. Not only does it give you a whole health state back, but it also gives you a completely free sprint burst on top of that. I don't know why this perk still exists. The change I would make to it is simple. Simply remove the speed bonus. The perk heals a survivor full. I don't know why you would need the extra speed. It is only frustrating and feels unfair. Also, talking about perks being frustrating, the horse perk, I forgot how it's called, I'll put the name on screen right now, is one of the most annoying perks in Dead by Daylight history. Not only does it help with bully squads, it also just genuinely on certain maps makes hooking people nearly impossible. A change that I just came up with 10 seconds ago is if a killer drops you onto the ground, it would count as you wiggling out, it would stun the killer and give you time to run away. I think that is much better than what it currently is. And one more problem that I have is, unsurprisingly, the boon totems. I would change the general concept of how boon totems work and give them one fixed space on the map, just like the hex totems. Well, how do you determine which perks are active in that boon then? Essentially, it would take the different boon perks from every survivor of the trial and put it into one totem. But of course, if 2 survivors have the same perk, it would only count once. I also believe that this would encourage survivors to pick different perks in fear of their own perk not having an effect. And that is pretty much all I would change with the perks. Another big problem that I have is with the... Oh my god, please remove the corn from the farms. Please, I cannot fucking see it. Is that even corn? Is it corn? Is it weed? I don't know. I don't care. It's in my face and I cannot see shit. Just remove it. It doesn't need to be there. Then there's of course the problem with the tsunami of pallets in the game, which has been a problem for years now. And also this is a bit more of a personal thing since I haven't heard anyone else talk about this, but I think that the new Red Forest is way too crowded. Try playing Hunters in that map. Try blinking with Nurse in that map. Try to play Ghostface or Ghostface but taller, and you will see exactly what I mean. There are just way too many obstacles. It is insane. Please, behavior, go clean up your room. Also, another cute idea I've heard from many other content creators is that at the beginning of a match, we should let killers choose 1 or 2 maps that they don't want. Of course, we should still give survivors the chance of forcing the map with offerings. And this brings me to one of my last points, and it is the abysmal and problematic I don't know if this is just a personal problem, but every single match I go against teams with 2,000 or 3,500 hours in the game. Meanwhile, I myself have barely over 500, which just isn't fair and shouldn't happen in any game. I'm not even exaggerating with the whole every match I get people with like 5 times my playtime each. I quit playing the game for like 2 or 3 months at one point because it got so out of hand. So this brings me finally, after 40 minutes of recording, to the conclusion. Now, as I said previously, a huge change to the add-ons would be very appreciated, as well as instead of focusing on bringing out new killers, trying to fix and improve older ones. And my final tip to behavior in this video should be to stop looking at the numbers and statistics, but instead listen to the community as well as its creators. Like me, I can't wait for the domenicdada update where they put all of that in the game and everyone's gonna be happy. Now, I know that behavior has told all of us that the next 2 chapters will each include a licensed killer, which I am extremely hyped about. Also, it will be Alien and FNAF, okay? I'm predicting it. I know it. Mark my fucking words. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, like it. If you didn't like it, then mass report my channel and get my house raided or something. Actually, please don't do that. But yeah, thanks for watching. I guess until next time. Bye.